Welcome. In front of me is a HUAWEI Nova 11, and today I will show you a couple tweaks and tricks you can do on this device. So we're gonna get started by opening up settings and navigating to home screen and wallpaper, and here we have a couple different customization settings. So we have things like wallpapers, always on display. If you want to turn that off, you can do it right up here. We have magazine unlock, which is this kind of wallpapers that will be cycling through on your lock screen, which right now it's technically enabled, but it's not showing it. Not exactly sure why. But personally, I don't really like it, so I like to turn it off, and I will completely remove that option and stick with single wallpaper of your choice. We can also change the icons, and then scrolling down, we have a nice option right here for the home screen style. By default, HUAWEI opts into a standard, and now just to clarify, this is not standard for Android. This is standard for what they're trying to plagiarize, which is iPhones. And it's basically all your applications smack in the middle of your home screen without the app drawer, as you can see. So let's just change that to something more useful, like the drawer. So when enabling a drawer, it removes some of the applications from here, as you can see, and now you can find all your applications alphabetically organized by swiping up. So there we go. And you also have a quick search. So you don't need to now just swipe through pages looking for your single application. You forget where it is. You can just swipe up, search for it, and you're good to go. Now moving on to the next option, it's the dark mode, which will be located in settings under the display and brightness, and it's right over here. Now we have either obviously the hard switch for turning it on or off, but you also have the schedule, which will allow you to set a start and end time to the dark mode, so it will switch between these two modes based on the provided time that you have selected, which is a pretty nice option because during the daytime it might be easier for you to see the display when it's in light mode, and during the nighttime it's obviously nice to not get flashbanged by your own device. Now continuing on with the display section, we can scroll down and we have the screen resolution and screen refresh rate. Now resolution, we have two options. We have the 1080p basically, and then something like a 720p. Just differs by like couple pixels, whatever. So if you select either one of those, either you'll have a higher resolution or a lower one, and lower one will presumably give you a better battery life. And you also have the smart switch, which is enabled by default, so this will most likely utilize both of those. And then whenever the display isn't, for instance, if you, as an example, looking at a low resolution image, it will automatically swap to low because it doesn't need to run the low resolution image at high resolution because it gives you no benefit. But running it on low will give you a little bit of a battery life boost. Now moving on to the next thing, which was the refresh rate. We have it set to dynamic. We also have the option between high and standard. Standard will be the go-to option for everyone who wants to prioritize battery life only and nothing else. So if you don't care how the device kind of like looks when you're swiping up and down, then 60 is the option that you want to go with. Now, for everyone else who wants to have the nice look at the device when you're scrolling up and down, the smooth feeling that you get with the 120 Hz, I recommend sticking with the dynamic just because it gives you all the benefits of high, but it doesn't give you the drawbacks of high, which is the higher battery consumption. Kinda. Let me explain though. So dynamic will run at 120 Hz when it needs to. So right now, literally right now, the device is running at 60 Hz. Just because the image that is displayed right here is stationary. It doesn't move, so the device doesn't need to utilize the 120 Hz for an image that isn't doing anything. So it's trying to preserve the battery by scaling it a little bit down. But the moment you start swiping up or down, like this, it will switch to 120, giving you this dynamic option, 120 Hz, which obviously makes the display look nice and smooth. Now, moving on to another option. This one will be in notifications and status bar. and status bar. And here we have options for simple display. That's what I would prefer to enable. It just kind of turns off a couple things. You can do this yourself. So basically, one of the things that it turns off is if you have a SIM card, it will tell you the name of the SIM card, which is absolutely useless information. And I just generally don't see a purpose for it, so I would want to turn it off, which will give me a little bit more space in my status bar for instance, notifications, which I also don't care because I am more used to swiping it down and checking what notifications I have rather than looking at the icons that it shows. So I'm going to toggle that off as well. And this will give me a nice clean look to my status bar. And additionally, you can also change one more thing, which is the battery. As you can see, by default, it shows you the battery percentage next to the battery, but we have a better option right here by clicking on the blue text and selecting to show the battery percentage inside of the battery, basically giving you a more minimalistic look while still giving you the same amount of information that you had before. So there we go. Now, with that being said, hopefully you found this video helpful. If you did, don't forget to hit like, subscribe, and thanks for watching.